All right, everybody, here we are again for another Gators Breakdown Plus member chat. Didn't think we'd be having this one. I did not think we'd be having this one. About 24 hours ago, Florida falls to USF 18-16, giving Florida their first loss of the 2025 season. Gators now sit at 1-1 and travel to Baton Rouge next week to take on the LSU Tigers. So, well, I went on a spill last night from the swamp. So we'll get into some other avenues. We'll expand the conversation a little bit right here on this member chat. But certainly want to hear from you guys. I know you got lots to say. That's what the format of this one. So everybody, if you don't care for the member chat episodes, if you don't like that's what this is. So this is not a standard episode out there. This is where me and Gators Breakdown Plus members get together and voice opinions, and I think this one's going to be voicing some and a lot of displeasure for how Florida showed up there on Saturday night against USF. So it stinks. I mean, here we are again, 1-1, 4 years in, when this was supposed to be the 2-0 start. This was supposed to be the easier start to the season. You were supposed to be able to ease your way in. And that was supposed to really help because of, the offseason issues with DJ Lagway and his injuries. And that was another benefit of starting the way you were supposed to start the season with LIU and USF. You didn't have Miami and Utah to open up the season. Well, that slaps Florida in the face anyway. It didn't matter. Florida's 1-1 again anyway, heading into the meat of the schedule. 3 top 10 teams in a row coming up right here for the Gators. If that stays the same way, it should, given the opponents those teams face. So here we are. Certainly want to bring you guys in and get this conversation started. Who knows where this will go. this might be a fun one in some ways, maybe because of the unpredictability of it all. But let me get Gator Jeffries in here. We'll get the conversation going there. But just hit that unmute there, Gator Jeffries. If I think I was putting you in here, but there we go.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, man.
Man, I've been watching the Gators all my life, and watching that game the other day, yesterday, just made me start thinking of Mac. Made me start thinking of what was his name?
Muschamp.
One before Mac.
Muschamp.
Muschamp.
Yep.
At least with Muschamp, we could hang our heads on the defense. It looked like our defensive coaches couldn't make any kind of adjustments.
Yeah.
It looked like our offense, our best player, can't even get on the field after the first drive. I'm just sitting here thinking, how can we, as a team, as a coaching staff, how can he go into that presser and say the same thing that he's been saying? I don't understand how he can even defend himself anymore.
I certainly get your point there, and I think now we've heard all the bravado and confidence every offseason, but the only thing that was different about the bravado and all that coming from Billy Napier this time was, there was many other people who had that thought too. Some of us in the fan base had the heightened expectations. There was heightened expectations from national media, that I talked about last night too. So it wasn't like, the confidence wasn't coming from anywhere. But at the same time, I think going to your point, maybe, and who knows in a press conference situation what's going to come out in the mindset and thing. But I think he was completely blindsided by how the team, or I guess how the team performed in some ways, but completely blindsided once again that for whatever reason, whatever he comes up with is not working. And that's a scary proposition in and of itself.
It kind of shows that he, for whatever reason, the way he's coaching, whatever he's doing, it's just not working, and it hasn't been working since he got here. I mean, the biggest win of his whole tenure has been what? Utah, his very first game.
Yeah, Utah and the
then
LSU Ole
you
Miss games
follow
last year.
that with, well, yeah, that's true. The two games last year, but I mean, you follow the Utah win with a loss versus Kentucky.
Yep.
And then you have the inexcusable loss versus Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And then now yesterday, I mean, it seems like he can't get out of his own way. I mean, I think it, and I like Billy. Don't get me wrong. He seems like he's a really good guy, but whatever he's doing is not working. And I don't know if maybe he doesn't have the knowledge or the foresight to see that it's not working and something's got to change, because nothing seemed to have changed since he got here, really.
Yeah, the offense does look the same. I was hanging my hat on maybe some benefit of the doubt that, all right, he's got his quarterback. He's got more talent than he's had, so maybe some things will change. But there's a lack of self-realization when it comes to Billy Napier. And that's the scary thing. And many people, even before the guy even coached his first game at Florida, I was the one who asked him at his opening press conference, was he going to call his own plays? Was he going to be the offensive coordinator at Florida? And he responded, yes. And right then, that rubbed some people the wrong way. I was even given benefit of the doubt then. I was like, look, that's what got him here. Go with what dance with what got you here. And I was going to give it the benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, have the realization that if it's not going the right way pretty early on, then be willing to change, be willing to adapt. And we haven't seen it. But like I said, going back to that night, and I asked him that, many people already say, no, I don't like it. That doesn't work so much at big programs. And we didn't even know the full realization yet of what NIL was going to be and how the game was going to change and how much even more is on a head coach's plate. And he continues to go this route anyway. And now here we are, year 4, and it's still the same. And one more time, I'll admit I was duped in this. All right, maybe it will change now because he's got Lagway in year 2, and this is his quarterback. He can open it up more if he wants to because he's got a quarterback with a live arm that can do so. And maybe the limitation is because of the injuries there for Lagway. Okay, maybe so. But when we've seen what we've seen time and over again, that this is what we get, it's hard to just say, well, it's because Lagway's hurt. We know because of what we've seen. I can't sit there and say that's the reason why we don't see it. Maybe down the road, maybe eventually this season, if he gets there, we see it. But I don't have confidence that we will see that. So it's just well, go ahead.
And another thing I don't have confidence in is, even if we do get rid of Billy, do we trust the administration to make a good hire next time? After the disaster that Billy has been, the disaster Mac was, I mean, I just don't have a lot of confidence in the ability of this administration right now.
And you're not alone. That's what rubs some people the wrong way with Strickland getting that extension already. And it's just, okay, great. Yeah, if this doesn't work out with Napier, okay, well, who's the next guy? And is there confidence that Strickland gets it right this time? So no, you're right, and it's there's not a lot of confidence in where this 2025 team is already heading, and if the worst happens for Napier, what is to come after? And I don't know if kind of going back to the false confidence and maybe us getting our hopes up a bit. I don't think many will be getting. I think it'll be a lot of wait and see approach of how Scott Strickland's going to handle this and who's the next guy on the sideline.
Yeah, that's all I've got to say, man. I always go Gators.
Always
going to be rooting for them.
For sure. Thanks, Jeffers. What's up, Ryan?
What's up, Dave?
Oh,
Man,
here we are again, man. Hey, first I'll give you, when we've done these chats, you've been the one who hasn't fully dove in
yeah, I
to
mean,
Napier. So I know you didn't want to pat yourself on the back or anything, but I'll do it a little bit for you.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to be that like that because ultimately it's not fun to watch this stuff. But I mean, if you follow recruiting and just history of good head coaches, you kind of what you got after year two.
Yeah.
And what we saw in year two with Napier was home loss to an inexcusable Arkansas team, and what we thought was sure enough going to be a top 5 recruiting class, something we all know you need to win championships at this level, squandered away because we couldn't, win games on the field. We just looked like we're a complete lost football team. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, when he came out and gave the whole "Are you not entertained?" speech after signing day, I mean, I was pretty much done with this man. I know everybody says he's a nice guy. I really don't care about any of that. I want him to win football games, and that's the bottom line. It's disappointing because like you said, Lagway was supposed to be his one ticket. This was his one chance to prove he could do it, and here we are. And now, I mean, I don't know what Lagway's issue is. I almost want to just echo what you said last night, and call him DJ Mertz. I think it might be more of this is the type of quarterback that Napier wants, and this is the type of passing concepts he wants to run. I mean, just real quick, and I'll let somebody else go. Just a few things I jotted down that after listening to you watching the game,
Yeah.
we run a lot of tight sets with heavy tight end usage. I don't think that's DJ's bread and butter. I think he likes to spread the field, be able to see the field more. Even when we go 10 personnel, the it's still Hayden Hanson out there lined up at receiver. We recruit 2 and 3 star offensive linemen and tight ends to run a zone run heavy scheme. Yet we recruit 5-star quarterbacks and wide receivers to run screens and jet sweeps for the most part. I'm exaggerating some.
No, I got you.
But I mean, it's more like a square peg, round hole situation. Instead of adapting, his scheme to his players that he's recruited, he forces these players to adapt to his scheme, come hell or high water. And it's just
I
frustrating.
agree. We've seen enough evidence of that. There's not much adaptability to the talent, even though he did recruit receivers and they're really fast receivers and they should be used down the field. All right, well, yeah, you do call for your receivers to run down the field, but it might be 1 or 2 receivers. It's not. And look, to your point about the tight ends, and maybe this escapes me or whatever. And look, we know how much he wants to use it, but it seemed like to me, and I don't know why, like it seemed like they were even more involved in the downfield passing game than they have been in the past against USF. Like they were targeted a lot early in the game.
Yeah, and that makes no sense to me. When you have all these receivers, I mean, we are scared to death to line up with 4 receivers on the field at one time. I mean, if we're going spreading it out, you can bet that if we go 4 or 5 wide, one of those receivers is going to be a tight end. And if we go 5 wide, it's going to be Jaden Ball, lining up in the backfield and then motioning out to be the 5th receiver. So I mean, I understand we can't line up 5 wide every play and have any success, but it just doesn't seem like he doesn't recruit the players to run his scheme. It really is confusing the way he handles recruiting and then the way he handles it on game day. It makes no sense whatsoever.
I tell you what, it's funny. And look, I'm not trying. I'm being funny here in a way. I'm not trying to relate the two at all. But when I fire up college football 26, and I get there's a 5 wide set, 4 wide set in there, and Hayden Hanson's in the formation. I've gotten rid of that playbook. I've gotten rid of those plays in my playbook because guess what? he never gets any separation. And it's like, okay, all right, maybe it is in the game. EA Sports gets that a little bit right, because it's just, look, I know it's completely different. I'm not trying to relate the two or trying to connect the two at all, but it's just it is a simple thing in some ways. It's just like, why am I trying to use a tight end right here? It doesn't work.
Why?
It's
That's
not.
the thing. Why?
It's not working. But yeah, it's mind numbing at times. And like you said too, and I know this gets on some people's nerves. You're playing with the Florida speed. This is what used to get on my nerves about Will Muschamp. And now you see it with Billy Napier, and so much going the other way, completely opposite, like I thought he would. Wants to play in a phone booth. I mean, everything's in a phone booth. Everything's close to the line of scrimmage. Teams, so many guys are in the box because, well, they don't really have any choice to be, because everybody's so close to the offensive line. And it just creates, a car wreck effect there out there in the box. And there's just not much happening, in those little spaces for Florida. I've been disappointed with the offensive line in those situations, minus the first drive of the game yesterday. Run blocking, USF makes some great adjustments, I assume, after that first drive. They're moving their defensive line around a good bit and take advantage of Florida. There's not much in. I know people will say, well, where's Jaden Ball? And granted, he probably could have got some more touches, but even after that first drive, when he did, USF was making some good plays on defense. They were blowing it up. They were taking advantage of Florida's offensive line. They had 7 tackles for loss in the game. So this offensive line that I myself was so high on, at least in the run blocking area. Everybody knows my concerns I had in pass blocking. But through 2 games, you go back to LIU last week in the red zone, and we saw a lot of the blocking issues as well. So even some of the just expectation for what I thought would be part of the team that would be good, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, the run blocking was kind of, I don't know. Even I kind of fell for that. Like, with DJ Lagway back there, that threat of the deep ball, our run game should be good. But it is. I mean, our offensive line does not look like it's got All-American on there and 4 returning starters and all this experience. I mean, it kind of looks like year 1 and 2 Napier to me. Anyway, that's basically it. I mean, everybody else is going to say the same things that we all feel. I mean, it is what it is. I'll let somebody else get in here.
We'll go back to it last year in Mullen, and I remember everybody and Newt's in here now, so he can come into here too. But start calling these things like group therapy sessions, because that's what these are turning into.
Well, what's up, guys?
Hey, man.
I think I've been taking my anger out on everybody in my family here. I feel bad for them. I've just been snapping at everybody now. But I think my biggest, first of all, last week when he said LIU did stuff to confuse us, that was like red flag for me. Like, oh God, it's going to be the same thing this year. But I think the biggest thing for me is just the unwillingness to change. Like you mentioned it. It's just like you don't have a good history to say, well, to fall back on. It's like we're failing and then you won't change. It's just why? Frustrating. Give it a chance. Clearly it's not working. It's crazy. We just need them to do less. We're not asking you to do more. We're asking you to do less. Imagine your job, you're over 3 departments and they're like, hey, we just want you over 2. And I'm just going to keep your pay the same. We're not trying to fire you. And it's just nah, I don't want that. What? That's all I got though. I'll let y'all have it, but it's just need a little group therapy right now.
Well, at one point, and you stay in here and you can respond, and I'll get Harrison in here too. He's got his hand up, but I mentioned Lagway last night, and kind of so far disappointed in what I've seen there, and who knows what the reasons are. It could be Lagway. There's probably some of it there. It's probably a good balance of Napier and Lagway, and why we're not getting what we expected from number 2. But this is 2 seasons in a row where a returning quarterback does not look like they've taken a step forward early in the season. Now, it was a little more difficult last year with Miami, and you go to fast forward to Texas A&M game 3, but Graham Mertz didn't look like he was taking the necessary steps to me for a quarterback that was returning in the same offense. And here we are with Lagway as well. So maybe not fair for Lagway, but it doesn't erase the fact that this is happening. This is 2 seasons in a row where, all right, we feel pretty good because we got a returning quarterback now, and I have not seen the next step.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, remember it was, if you got a Lamborghini, what was it? If you got a Lamborghini, would you let someone else drive it? It's like, yeah, if my last 2 cars I put into the wall, I probably would let someone else drive it,
That's a good point. Okay, I've proven I can't handle the power of the Lamborghini. So, yeah, I'll let somebody else drive it. Did he hire anybody he trusts, I guess? I mean, granted, we know we've given more role and more, responsibility to Callaway, but does he not trust to hand it over? Has he not hired the right people?
How do we know that's not part of the problem with all this heavy tight end usage? Maybe Russ Callaway's come in and say, that's my position. I'm going to get them involved.
What's up, Harrison?
I'm just joking around.
Yeah, I know. But I got you. I got you right. What's going on, Harrison? I thought he was in here. He is. Harrison, if you're trying to talk, I can't hear you. So, all right, so as we move forward, even if the big wins come along, we got these next couple games, or next few games, but the next couple before a bye week, on the road in Baton Rouge, then Miami. So, Florida's not going to go. I don't think Florida's not going to go 1-10, 1-11 from here on out. 2-10. I don't think that there'll still be a win. There'll still be some wins on the road. There'll still be some wins on the schedule, but where? That's going to be kind of hard to pinpoint. But I'd say the team looks better. Say the team gets a win over at least one, somehow 2. But where's the confidence that it's sustainable? To do that, he has to go beat good teams on the road, something he hasn't done. And then this is coming off his worst loss as Florida head coach. So even if the big wins come here, somehow, some way, are we going to fall that it's sustainable? Because I surely ain't. I'll just still be waiting for it to somehow fall on his face again. So that's what this type of loss has done. Like, even if you have something good come pretty soon after this, it's just going to be I'm just waiting to see it fall again, because that's exactly what we've gotten so far. What's up, Bill Sykes?
Do you really want to know?
Do I want to know what? What's up?
Yeah. I don't know if I should even be in here right now. Couple of things. First of all, like when you talk about sustainability, we knew this wasn't going to be sustainable as far as, even if he caught lightning in a bottle with Lagway, it was always a matter of, well, maybe he can make history and sneak a championship, sneak a playoff run, before the carriage turns back into a pumpkin. And maybe before that happens, the momentum from that helps him in recruiting. And he has not been on a championship trajectory since day one. And so it was never really to me about sustainability. Not to just disagree with you, but the Cinderella story's over, and so I think we were all just kind of hoping against hope for that outlier path. And it's just not looking like it's going to shape up. And sure, I guess it still could, but right now it doesn't look like it's there. And, I've been thinking about this all day because I know I'm very critical of what's happened. And unfortunately the data has backed that up. But, here's the thing. Each of the last 4 coaches now, Muschamp, McElwain, Mullen, and Napier, have each had a losing season within the first 4 years. Now, Napier didn't wait. He just got 2 right out of the gate. But I feel like we're being gaslit to some extent. And it's like, okay, maybe we're not an elite program. Maybe Florida fans are expecting too much. But is it too much to expect that they hire a freaking coach that does not drop a turd on us in his first 4 years? Like, what is going on, and where's the accountability in this gigantic, like, whatever it is, $100 million program, to where you say, we're really not giving a good product to the people who tune in every week and come to the games and get on the message boards and read every bit of material and have stuff hanging all over their house and wearing their shirts. It's like, at what point is it not our fault? And is it too much to ask that they just win every year? I don't understand what is so hard about this.
And to back that up a little bit even more, Bill, to me, the expectation for Napier to even start with was not championships.
No,
it was
everybody was giving him time that he probably shouldn't have had.
Yeah, and
it is getting worse.
Right. You don't use. I don't care how good USF is. I do not care. In year 4, you are supposed to be better than this.
Right.
My thing is, USF could go on and win the national championship. I don't care. I'm going to ask, why isn't it Florida in year 4 under Billy Napier? And I've said before, I don't care who the head coach is. In year 4, I have this expectation for whoever is on the sideline. And maybe to your point, Bill, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe Florida's in that spot where we should. Whoever's in year 3, whoever's in year 4, maybe we're not in this spot anymore where we should expect to be competing for titles. But here we are in a 14 playoff, in a 12-team playoff, and who doesn't matter who the coach is. Florida's not sniffing a playoff right now. Not even in the conversation. We can't even get to November, and Florida's in the conversation anymore.
Well, that's one of the things I keep telling people about recruiting when they say, well, we're almost in the top 10 and we're in the top 10. And it's like, there's only like 13 to 14 programs year in and year out that are actually funding, whether it's through bags or NIL, the effort to land a top 10 class every year. If you're recruiting like Napier has, other than last year, you're last. You're last among major programs. And so we can't even sniff 12th in the country. Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, and to Bill's point, I mean, I don't believe that we should lower our expectations, and we're not at that tier. I mean, I still believe that high school recruiting matters, and we are in the state of Florida, or typically should be the premier university in the state of Florida. So if you got the right guy, if Billy Napier can get a 12th ranked class or a 14th ranked class in the NIL era, then I honestly believe somebody that can win on the field can do better. I mean, I'm not saying that top five is, obtainable right now, but because of the competition, just all the teams you're competing with just to get to that top 5. But we can do better than this, being the University of Florida in the most talented state for high school recruiting there is. I mean, I'm sorry. We should have higher expectations. And I agree with Bill. We're being gaslit into thinking that we shouldn't. And this is okay.
One more thing, just since I'm ranting, but I know this is a little bit of best ball, and I don't like when people do this the other way. I know this is leaky, but I'm just throwing it out there. After 4 roster building cycles, like, you've had your full chance to build a roster. Imagine this team without those 3 fifth-year Mullen guys, which is a very odd situation. You take away Slaughter, Barber, and Sapp.
Yeah.
And then take away Brown, the legacy 5-star he got. Now, clearly, there's a massive coaching issue. There's a schematic issue. I understand that. I think a better coach gets much more from this team. But imagine him with that roster without the 3 guys that are still around from 2021 and Vernell Brown's kid. It would be horrific.
I'd throw Miles Graham in there too.
Oh, Grant, that's right.
Yeah,
you got to stir your Mike linebacker that's a legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be awful, and it's already awful. That's not good enough. Okay, I will stand down.
Yeah, you're right. We got to rip off the Band-Aid. It's like, I think like you were saying earlier, after this loss, it's clearly like, even if we finish the season out good, it's kind of obvious now. It feels like it'll never be good enough. Yeah. So like what are we wasting our time for?
Yeah, losses like this do confirm that this team is not getting over the hump.
And then all you got to do is go look at the recruiting rankings and see it's not going to get any better. I mean, there's nothing coming down the pipeline to say, oh, yeah, just wait. because we had that. And that was DJ Lagway in his class, and we butchered that. So that was our pipeline. That was his chance.
We are the hump, and people are rolling over us.
Ouch.
Yeah, why would anybody want to this offense? Like the fact that he even got DJ to come is just a miracle in itself. But like, it seems like we say it's on hard mode. I don't know how. I just feel like if someone came in here, even if he just hired an OC and just did what he did well, we could have so much more success. And it's just frustrating because, like I said, it's just like try it, like to see.
What if it's publicly announced that is the next step? We'll go out, we'll get whoever. Of course, we'll have to wait and see who the hire would be. But all right, we're. I think we got to probably see how this season. You can't collapse and then say you can't go 3-9, you can't go 4-8, and then say the next move is okay. Well, we're going to hire an OC. No, that's time to move on altogether. But I say this thing turns around to 8-4, and it's publicly announced. All right, Napier's coming back, but there is a mandate for an OC hire.
You're killing me, Dave.
I still don't think that gets many people back on board. It would not me. But
no. I mean, because it's not. I mean, granted, that is probably the biggest problem that we can see on game day is our offense. But it's not just the only problem. We had 11 penalties at home against South Florida. We had a player spit on somebody. I mean, it is so much bigger. Our special teams, once again, we can't even snap the ball to the punter. I mean, it's year after year. There's just more and more evidence that builds up that shows this guy is in over his head and does not need to be at the University of Florida.
I can't. I'm not disagreeing. Harrison, I know you're in here, man. I don't know.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, there we go. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then we'll get Kurtzman.
It just took me a little while to figure it out. Sorry.
Okay. And then we'll get Kurtzman in here as well.
Anyways, I don't want to talk too much about my personal life, but it's like I've been working 6 straight weeks of 6-day weeks, and it's like this was what I look forward to is coming to the game, and because I went to this game along with I know you did, Dave, but it's like I was looking forward to this. All the crowd was fired up and everything, and it's like I had these annoying USF fans behind me that was calling the plays and everything else, and you want us to win and like kind of turn around and give them the middle finger, but it's like at the same time, it's like, I kind of agree with them. It's like y'all
Lost you there, Harrison. But I got your point. A good bit of it anyway. It was a full swamp. There was a lot of support. Once again. And here we are. Tied with those expectations of getting kicked in the stomach one more time. And then, I mean, I forgot who it was. I posted on Twitter that somebody who knew USF, his son played for USF, and they had talked behind the scenes that they pretty much knew what was coming from Florida's offense. Certainly not a good look. That kind of continues.
That's not the first time we've heard that, Dave.
We heard it last year in Miami too. With their terrible DC. Remember now, Miami ended up firing their defensive coordinator last year. Now, the one that shut down this offense, completely knew everything Billy Napier was going to do. He didn't even make it. He didn't. He got fired by Miami at the end of the year. By the way. Kurtzman, what's up?
No, man, we've got 2-star tight ends that can get the job done. We're going to throw to them all day.
Trying to get Kurtzman in here, but I'm not sure if his mic's on.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, so I want to talk about I thought you could see this coming last week in the LIU game. To me, was a team. If you're at 80%, 90% of a championship level, that is one of the worst teams that has ever come into the swamp. other than a high school team. That should have been a game you put up 100 points, and we couldn't block certain plays. DJ was getting sacked there, and you could. To me, the alarm bells were going off then, and I was like, "Oh, people are being too critical, whatever." Okay, it happened again. You know, week 1 to week 2 you're supposed to make your biggest improvement, and I didn't think there was any improvement other than the first drive and ball was running and running, and we went away from it. But the game management piece is just getting to the point of the frustration is we know USF runs a hurry up. We know that they run the same offense as Tennessee, right? I can't believe we tried to sub on a 4th and 3 when there was no sub from the other side too. And I was like, what a free down that was too. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're subbing. I can't believe they're subbing here. And it was subbed to the near sideline. So it was from the Gator side. And the ball was on the Gator hash on that side too. That to me is a coach that is not buttoned up. The staff doesn't understand or is too afraid to speak up. So all these things from a game management perspective come out again in year 4. And it's just over and over. My big concern is for the program right now is at some point the faucet's going to get turned off, right? People are saying, listen, is the juice worth the squeeze, right? I'm throwing money here left and right. I know guys that travel from all over. I'm in Vegas. I travel down to Gainesville. You know, it's got to be, you know, it's not a cheap trip for a lot of people. And they're also, we give NIL money, we buy gear, all that. You know, if there's no return on investment at some point, you know what? At some point, you're not going to be able to fund and get these recruits because the money's not there. Whereas I'll go on the road and go travel to see basketball. I went to San Francisco for the Elite Eight game. I traveled last minute, paid a lot of money for that flight. But I knew for a fact I'm going to see a great product because Todd, from year 1 to what he did last year, when the national, he adjusted in the year 1, and you just haven't seen the adjustment. And this is year 4, right? We are watching year 4 of the same thing. And listen, like everybody said, we can all sit at home and predict the plays, and everybody in the stands can, and of course the other teams can. We know for a fact we're going to see jet sweep, we're going to see motion, right? And we're going to see a simple read option. We're going to see a bubble screen here and there, and that's it. And like you said earlier, DJ hasn't gotten better because why DJ should have been better is on the interception. If he checked it down, I think Trey or someone that was wide open within 30 yards of that too. So there's just things that are not being done. You're just not seeing any progression. And there is a lot of talent on this roster. Maybe it's not the most talented roster that's in the SEC, but it's good enough to win 9 games this year if you're pushing the right buttons and calling the right plays. And to me, the spitting in the face, to me, it just reminded me of Marco Wilson. It just was like you knew Dan was done that day when that shoe. And to me, the spitting incident on that drive, you had 230. You gave them 30 yards with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Dave, if you thought this too. Did you think Billy gave up without calling timeouts at the end and see if he can get another possession or try to let them score?
Man,
to me, I thought Billy let go of the rope at the end of that game.
Yeah, I will agree. That's what it felt like. Now, I don't think so. We know how terrible he is with time management. I think that was just another example of it to me. But why you don't call earlier timeouts, I will never know. It made no sense as it was happening. Why you let it play out that way? But yeah, that last drive, I went back and looked at it too. USF did not have a 3rd down on that drive until they kicked the field goal. The field goal was kicked on 3rd down. So you add the penalties, you add the soft cushion coverage for whatever reason, and to me, in all angles of that, it felt like you gave them that last drive with the penalties and the soft play on defense, and going to your point about the timeout usage, and it just felt like whatever that last drive was, it was here, USF, we're going to allow you to come into the swamp, and you're going to kick this 20-yard field goal to win. That's what we're going to get, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I just felt that. And listen, listen, my son is going to be going to UNLV here. I have kids that are in college up in Reno. Reno. And listen, I got season tickets to watch them just because of him, right? And I watched Mullen, but I think to my mind a little bit. I'm not saying Mullen deserved to get fired. But what Mullen could do with that offensive talent that they have there, if you have an elite play caller, that offense can be humming left and right because
That's probably true.
The other thing too
That's
is,
probably true, but they wouldn't be there.
He could scheme because they wouldn't be there, but he could scheme up the right plays, and that's the kind of mind you need right now because you have all those pieces in place. And I think Golish pretty much outcoached Billy from the first snap to the end of the game. And to me, I know guys in the USF program. I wouldn't mind that guy with that hurry up offense and the talent we have to see what he could do with the Florida talent because there is a lot of talent there. I know some guys are out, but for what did they win it? What did Ball have in the second half? What, 8 touches, 7? It wasn't much.
I can grab that for you quickly. Let me see. Let's go. If I click on there, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep.
8 touches. I mean, the guy's running for 8 or 9 yards a clip in the first half. And
his first 3 carries, by the way, 14, 15, and 10. 7 and 5. And then here's his yardage in the second half. 9 minus 2, 7, 4, 5, 5, 1, and 2.
Like I said, it wasn't simple. Like they should have imposed their will on LIU. They didn't. They should have imposed it against USF, and that's I think the most. And you got 2 offensive line coaches, and it just wasn't there. And it's year 4. Let me ask you this, Dave. And maybe some others can chime in too. What's the fear of we get blown out against LSU, and we look at the rest of that schedule? Could you see some guys opt out because that would save a year of eligibility?
Ooh,
absolutely.
You know what? In today's college football, yeah, yeah. I haven't thought about it, so you're catching me. You're catching me off guard a little bit with that one, but man, yeah, in today's college football, I wouldn't be surprised. No, I wouldn't be. Unfortunately, I could see that happening. And then, hey, look, if that does happen, all this culture talk that we've been talking about, that goes out the window. I hope we don't get there.
I don't think that'll happen.
I could see it.
I could see it. Don't get me wrong. If you're asking me if it happens, no, I don't think it would.
Yeah,
but I would not. In today's climate, I would not be shocked in the least if it happens. Because I do wonder.
Because if I'm Dallas Wilson, if I'm banged up, right?
Yeah,
and I don't, I see it going the wrong way, and do you say, hey, listen, I'll opt out? He was flipping flopping anyway. Could that be a guy that says, hey, I'm out of here? I'm not healthy. I could just say, hey, I'm out for the year and just jump out. I just think it's going to happen some way or another with this roster because the feeling and the looking from friends that were there, it just wasn't good. And we know what's going to happen this week. We know it for a fact. We are going to play LSU down probably to the wire.
Yep.
And we are going to make some stupid move like we did in Knoxville.
Yep.
And we're going to lose the game because of coaching. And that's the feeling I have coming up for this week. We're going to play them down to the wire, and we're going to try to sneak it with the punter trying to get in the end zone. Something crazy, right? And that's what's going to happen. It's going to be that. And I can hear Brian Kelly in my mind right now, right? Well, we're talking about the same thing again this year, and that's to me the soundtrack that we all have right now.
Yeah. I guess, going to the some of that talk too is, where this team currently is. I say, it's 1-1, 4 years in a row now. And it's maybe the path for this team is, all right, maybe they do get better in the season, but it's just like, all right, well, once again, you're throwing pie in our face to start the year. You're digging the hole where, all right, you don't, you don't get to do this multiple times. You don't get to have a bad start to the season and dig your way out of it. Like you
That's not pie, Dave.
I guess I was keeping it PG there, Bill. Without
keeping it real,
without
Dave.
really meaning to, but yeah, you're right. It's not. But yeah, but
And like
we
you
can't
referenced it
give
earlier
him credit for digging himself out of a hole. Like even if he turns it around this year, it's just like you can't get over the hump because of the hole you're digging to begin with.
And Dave, you said today online, the best win on the road for this guy right now is South Carolina when they are horrendous.
Yeah.
In a full rebuild. That is the best win. And to me, I think something happened in year one. I was at the South Carolina game and I'm like, we put this thing together, right? We played Georgia tight. We blew out South Carolina. And that loss to Vandy has never gone away. That loss at Vandy. To me, that is one it's to me, something happened there and it, we played FSU down to the wire. Listen, I was at the game against Oregon State and just something hasn't been right after that South Carolina game. Because we looked like, hey, we've got something, right? We put this thing together. We're bringing recruits in. And something happened after that game in Nashville that I can't put my finger on. I don't know what happened. But, like you said, we're expecting wins on the road when this guy's best win is South Carolina.
Well, you're bringing it, I think at this point it's fair. I hate going back so far so much, but you've got to look at these freaking losses. And look, admittedly, everybody kind of knows me. In year one, I'm giving a lot of grace. Well, year ones are weird. It's weird for most coaches. All right, so the loss to Vandy, okay, it happens. But then you can't look back at it when you sit here and say, all right, well, Arkansas year two, USF now this year. It's like there's these, scratching head moments, scratching head games that they are going to add up. And I just cannot now forget those games and with the overall record, you throw those losses in, but besides LSU, Ole Miss last year, Utah in year one, and Tennessee in year two, well, that's really the only good wins. I'm going off the top of my head. Is that really it? Is that 4 good wins?
Yeah,
And one bowl
that's
win.
it.
Yeah, and the
Versus
bowl
two.
versus a bunch of 2s for Tulane.
Yeah.
Dave, can I
And
throw another concern out?
Yeah, he almost stopped the shutout streak in Vegas at the bowl.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
We cheered that field goal. It was like, whoa, that was great.
What's up, Bill?
Another thing we've been going over this for several years now on your Discord about the likely path to breakthrough success for Napier was landing Lagway.
Mm-hmm.
That he could be a guy that, okay, you don't have the overall talent advantage. Instead, you find it in a concentration in the quarterback and ride that momentum. I mean, that has been done a few times. It's plausible and everything else. But suddenly when you look at it, his quarterback track record at Florida is not looking so hot. I mean, yeah, he gets guys that have high completion percentages because they're throwing screen passes and swing passes and hitches and
Pop
just
passes
kind of chipping away. But suddenly, if you think about it, we're not seeing this giant leap in the transition from Mertz to Lagway. If anything, it looks like Mertz again.
Yeah,
and I would say fully.
And I said that last night. For right now, that's what it looks like, and that's kind of going back to the point earlier as well. It's just you started last season, and Graham Mertz looked lost versus Miami last year, completely lost. Didn't get much better against Texas A&M. Got a little bit better, played well. UCF and Tennessee. Okay, he gets hurt that game. His career is over at Florida. And then, like I said, for Lagway, who knows? I mean, there probably is more to it with the injuries, but it still doesn't erase the fact that here we are in year two, expecting big things from this quarterback. And 2 games in against the easier opponents on the schedule, we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, if he can't field a great quarterback, he's done. And obviously, that's not even in the discussion anymore. At this point, it just looks like he's just a fake. the guy has no business at Florida.
I mean, I think it's the offense. We kept saying, oh, it's going to open up once we get a quarterback, a strong arm quarterback that can do it. But I mean, even last year, yes, he made some big time throws, but I think that was just more his instincts, raw talent. Even in the 4 wins, we didn't look like super fluent the whole game on offense. It was just a couple plays here and there, and then that would open up the run game. I mean, it wasn't anything. We saw potential, but it wasn't like, oh yeah, this is a well-oiled machine. And now it looks more like the Mertz offense, and I tend to believe that maybe this is just Napier's offense. You know, the route running, the passing concepts are just really generic and not. I mean, I by no means am an expert at at offensive football. I played wide receiver. I'm an undersized wide receiver at a small high school in Alabama that ran wishbone. So I wasn't out there catching a lot of balls. There wasn't a whole lot of scheming going on. But I can tell that there's not much. There's not much creativity to his passing game. It's very generic, and like I said, it's curls, it's screens, it's hitches, and there's an occasional deep post, very occasional, off a play action. But it's usually on a one-man route, one maybe possibly two-man route. You got a deep post or deep corner, and then you got the check down. I mean, it's really just it's confusing and frustrating to see. And one more thing, I shut up.
Right. Hold on, let me Alligator's been in here for a little bit. Let me get him.
Okay, yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Hey, Dave.
Hey,
thanks for letting me on. And no, I'm going to regurgitate a lot of what the speakers already said. And what you have said, that this is year 4, the last 3 years in a row, this team is unprepared against better teams. Like, that's inexcusable. You're out of your league. You shouldn't be here anymore. Not at this university. It's like, it is so frustrating that, listening to your podcast, we all get excited. We listen to all the other guys that are online, and it's like, we get excited. And then this year, for the first time in a long time, it's like, I got to see it. Because this bozo is just, I don't know what he's doing here. And I don't know why he's still here. The substitution penalty. You got Livingston hugging a guy on a block. The pass interference against Hansen, that was debatable. The special teams gaps, when is that going to stop?
Yeah.
When is it going to stop? I mean, it doesn't matter if you bring the best special teams guy in on this team for some, they brought a guy from the Patriots, which is, the god of special teams coaches, I guess. I don't know, and you're still seeing this garbage out here. And it's so frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating. It's like, we don't even get out of the gate and we're deflated. And there's no excuses. How do you not get your team up for this? How do you not get prepared? As far as Lagway is concerned, I know we all think he's Superman, but he missed a lot of time.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm not excusing that. I think in our hearts or in our heads, we're like, oh, he's just gonna pick up where he left off and he's gonna do better. And maybe he's not there yet. And I'm okay with that. But you know what? Have the rest of your team on point.
There you go.
Be ready. Pick up the slack. Pick your teammate up until when he's ready, he's going to take us to the next level. And none of these guys are doing that. None of them. You've got this O-line that is supposed to be all Americans or all world, and they were pathetic.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I really thought Florida would be able to lean on the run game if Lagway had to wait to come around. If we were not getting the Lagway, maybe we thought, the top of the line Lagway, okay, well, maybe we can lean on that run game till he comes around. And that's where the disappointment comes in. USF, 7 tackles for loss on the heels of LIU owning this offensive line in the red zone. And for this defense, Granted, you probably did play well enough to win this game versus USF, but in the clutch moment, you let the game get away from you. So if your quarterback is not going to be 100%, if you got to wait for him to be that guy, good point. Everything else needs to be grade level A, and that is absolutely what we did not see Saturday night.
Hey, Dave, who would you say is the leader on this football team?
Ooh. I'd say Lagway, but that's kind of by default for a quarterback.
That's all I've got.
You had the experience along the offensive line. You would hope somebody's there. Defense,
what has Sapp done?
Defense Sapp, but he's the guy who's only got a sack this year. He's the only one who has a sack on that defensive line. Yeah.
And going back to what Alex said, you want to. Listen, the quarterback's not 100%. We all see it, right? DJ's still nursing. He may be a little bit winded, that not at the best shape because he didn't go to a full camp, right? But to me, I still say this running back room is elite. You got Ball, Jackson, these guys can run over anybody. To me, I think sometimes when he gets stuffed on a few runs, Napier, he gets panicky and just throws for no reason, or it's just, I don't know what it is, but like, to me, let the run keep going until and let it set up DJ for more play action. But I thought, especially in the first half, you could have just kept running and running and running until you were blue in the face, and you would have probably won that game. And the mismanagement again is he threw at the end of the fourth when you had possession. All you need is 1 or 2 first downs, and you held the ball for 20. And you have guys that, like, Ball was averaging 5 yards a clip. Jackson's a great runner too. All they need is a little crease. Just let the run set up the pass, and I think you would have a little bit more success. But it just seems like he panics. Maybe Urban was there. The old ball coach is there. Maybe he thinks he's got to put on a show for them. But I don't know. I think less is more sometimes. Like some people said earlier, less is more might be with this team, because I do think they can still be an elite running team.
And that goes back to the game management part of it. And look, I know second guessing is a whole lot easier. I know revisionist history is very popular, but it does feel like, all right, pass when should run and run when should pass. So, and look, and I know the DJ even admitted it too. The pass to Vernell was an RPO, and that was Lagway's decision. He admitted after the game he made the wrong decision. He himself said, I got to be better aware of a game situation and maybe not be throwing the ball on first down, and then it falls incomplete, and then you only run 27 seconds off the clock. So you set up 2nd and 10. And then, but then of course the play was there later on. You have VB3 down the field, and the ball goes right through his hands. It's a play. If I'm going to sit here and blame the defense for not showing up in clutch situations, I got to sit there and throw throw VB3 and for him at the same time. The ball, granted, with the punt return, Florida's in great shape because of something he done. But when you're playing offense on hard mode and there's not a lot of margin for error, you're going to go back and look at a play here and a play there that can make the difference. And late game situation, you had a ball fall through a wide receiver's hands, and then you had a defense who couldn't get off the field when it really came down to it. I think you can sit here and blame both sides. I think as far as it goes late, but the game management situations too. I think we will sit here and put on Napier, and rightfully so. But there's one that goes to the quarterback as well, and he admitted it so after the game.
Yeah, but he should have never.
No,
the call should have never been an RPO to begin with.
I do agree with you there.
It goes back to the play caller. You, the head coach who was calling plays, have to have sense and awareness of where you're at and the time and where. Situational football 101. That's the issue I have. I get why the quarterback, made decided to go with the pass option. He's a quarterback. He saw 1-on-1, but still at the same time, why is that pass option, even an out route to the far hash.
It was.
Why not
all
run
the way
a
on the other side.
slant? If your RPO is, either inside zone, whatever zone, wherever the play is, or you have a pass option. If you're on this hash, then the pass should at least be a slant or something. If it's man and one-on-one coverage, it should be an easier throw than a 5-yard out to the far hash. I mean, so to me, the whole play design and calling that play right there in that situation was the mistake.
I don't think that Lagway is showing a full command of the offense. I'm talking about the actual mental side of things.
Oh, no, I completely agree. It does not look like that the first 2 weeks.
And if you know that, like, if we see that, Napier should see that. And so we're going to let a guy who hasn't practiced all year and just his second season come out there and changing the plays at the line? What in the world?
I agree.
I wish he'd become captain check down sometimes because those guys are wide open. Just take what's there. I mean, I just wish he would have learned a little more from Graham because it was okay. If he checked down more yesterday with those guys in space, it would have been fine. The guys, but we all know he wants to throw the deep ball, and they're just sitting over the tile with 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah.
And, we talked a lot about how Lagway has to show that he can handle drop coverages because we saw at times he struggled with that last year. But I think that has now developed to, can Lagway read a defense as the play is developing and go through his progressions effectively and spot open receivers? And right now, it's very, very mixed in that regard.
And at times he has, and he's not even hitting a throw.
Right.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, let me get Corey in here, and then we will wrap it up. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call. I wanted to continue the conversation about DJ, and I think that there's a lot of things we're not talking about, maybe or not highlighting enough. Is his potential health still at this point, and I'm not even sure if it's lack of reps anymore. I think it might be like he's just not 100% ready to get out there and be the guy we thought he was going to be this year. This is all play calling aside, of course, but I mean, we're still talking about a loss to USF here, even though they're a much better team than they have been historically. I feel like if we have been told the truth about these athletes we have in this team, and I think we can all agree that we still are very happy with some of these athletes that we've got here. And I hate to pull a Keith Niebuhr here and really extend this question too long, but Dave, what is your feeling on like DJ's actual health out there right now? Like he looks tentative. He went out there when he had open field and couldn't immediately decide to make one of those elusive moves we've seen him make in the past. He just does not look like himself, and I can't blame all of that on play calling this week. I just can't, because I sold myself this offseason, and I tend to be a more optimistic fan than most, but I feel like the athletes could overcome, whatever issues we have with play calling. But at the end of the day, it turns out we can't.
Yeah.
We're not out athleting them with bad play calling.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I do agree there.
I have to believe some of that is with DJ's health, and it's not lack of reps in the offseason. It's his actual reluctance to plant a leg and do an athletic move. That I want to hear your opinion on it.
Yeah, he does. He definitely looks tentative, and whether that is he is injured or he doesn't trust himself because of the past injury, I think that can be related. that could be relatable there. I don't know. You ask around the program, he's A-okay, he's ready to go. And I know others will say that's different. And you can certainly tell that there is something. He is not a threat to run the ball right now. Even when he does take off, there is no threat there. If I'm a defense and I've watched these first couple of games, I am not afraid if DJ Lagway runs. And I would have never said that as DJ Lagway, the recruit, watching DJ Lagway as a recruit, or even go back to a season ago. I never would have thought I'd find myself saying in 2025, DJ Lagway's not a threat with his legs. But right now, he's not. I have not seen anything these first two games to believe me, to believe that he can, quote unquote, be a dual threat quarterback right now. He's not, in my opinion. He looks slow when he takes off the run. Some of it, to me, is indecisiveness. That's slowing him down at the same time. It looks like he can't decide when to take off and run. So I think that plays into it as well. I can see where, he may look hurt. I don't know for sure. I won't try and put out something out there that I don't know the full truth about. If he is injured, I have not been told he is. But to me, common sense would tell us he's not 100%, given everything that he has fought through in the last year or so. So, that's as far as I'll go with it.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep. Thanks, Corey. Oh, here we go. Some group therapy. Hey, glad you guys hopped in. Didn't think we'd be talking about loss number 1 on September 7th. But here we are.
It's infuriating, Dave. Like, this isn't the way that this season was supposed to go.
It was not. No. It was not.
No.
Bull Gator in the comment. This just made me more mad. Bad therapy. I agree, Bull. I agree. At least I got some good laughs and good conversation with you guys. But oof.
Hey, thanks for giving us this platform, Dave.
Yeah. Here's the last thing. Here's the last thing I'll say. I put it out on Twitter. I hate we're 2 games in. And I know what the messaging is going to be a lot this week. But the Gators already, we have to claim that this is a back against the wall mentality. You go into Baton Rouge, you got Miami. Now, it was a make or break for a lot of people for 2025, especially given the expectations. But that's kind of going to be the message of this week, if that's what comes out. I mean, this is something, the mentality should have been there from the start. This team has not accomplished anything under Billy Napier in his first 3 seasons. Here we are in year 4 with finally some expectations. But this team still had to go out there and improve a whole lot to many of the fan base out there. So if that is kind of the messaging, all right, we learned our lesson. This was a wake-up call. But the previous 3 years should have been a wake-up call. There should not be this whole back against the wall mentality. I hope I do not hear that this week, because it is going to fall on deaf ears. Rant over. All right, everybody. Thanks for hopping in here.
One more question, Dave.
All right, I got to go, but what's up?
Did we just prepare for LSU for 3 weeks and we're going to beat them next week?
I am not going to be surprised if Florida goes there and plays well. I'm not. But I've been wrong about this team for the last couple of months. So who knows? Who knows?
We have no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
It's
college football. You're right. We really don't know. It would not surprise me if a whole lot of prep has went into them. I'll be honest. And that's not me hearing anything or anything like that. It would not shock me if that would be somewhat of the case. But, here we are. So, hey, if that was the plan, go out there and freaking win. I don't care. Go win. If that's what you were doing, go win the damn game. All right, everybody. That'll do it for this Gators Breakdown Plus. Remember, chat.